Hey everybody, I need your help. I've been back and forth and struggling with this topic, and I really want to know where all of you stand. There are 474, almost 475,000 subscribers here, and I would love to have each and every one of you view this and let me know where you stand on the subject, because I think it's that important, and I think it could happen before or sooner than many people realize. And I'm talking about the Convention of States. So hopefully you know that the United States Constitution was written in order to form a more perfect union. It instituted a system of checks and balances. That's the executive branch, the president, the legislative branch, Congress, and the judicial branch, the United States Supreme Court, as a way to ensure that no one branch was too powerful and that there was some give and take, and that it was kind of a logjam for a reason, so that no president could get too powerful, or no Congress could get too powerful, or no group of judges could be the all-powerful. And it was done by design. And it was also done as a way to prevent another bloody revolution to defeat tyranny. Well, let me give you a little bit of history first. Back in the Constitutional Convention, when the Constitution was being drafted, and it was a very long process in Philadelphia, and there were 2 days left in this Constitutional Convention, and Colonel George Mason realized that language had been changed somewhere, and that the power to amend the United States Constitution had been given to the government, the federal government, instead of to the people. So with 2 days left, he said, hey, there's a problem here. Mason's proposal would give power to the people, to the states, as a way to check the U.S., the federal government, and it was independent of the president, independent of the judiciary, and independent of the Congress. They had no say. So if they went off the rails so far, the states could reel it back in. Colonel Mason's proposal was approved unanimously, and it's currently the second part of Article 5 of the United States Constitution. On the screen is Article 5 of the United States Constitution. And it says, the Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution. And that's the part that has been used every time thus far when all 27 amendments were ratified, and there were numerous ones that were proposed and haven't been ratified, but that is the process we've used throughout our history. But the second part of this process is probably the most powerful, because it's done by those of us who have the power in this country, and it's we the people. Or on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states shall call a convention for proposing amendments, which, in either case, shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution, when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions in 3/4 thereof, as the one or the other mode of ratification may be proposed by the Congress, provided that no amendment which may be made prior to the year 1808 shall in any manner affect the first and the fourth clauses in the 9th section of the first article, and that no state, without its consent, shall be deprived of its equal suffrage in the Senate. So the part that is never been used is the Convention of States. Now, don't get confused. It is not another constitutional convention. I know there's been some concern. So, time out. I've been mulling this idea for months on whether to do a video on it. How do I stand? Am I for it? Am I against it? And I've been all over the map. Honestly, I've been all over the map on this. So lately, I've been talking to a lot of very, very influential people in my life. People who are in different states, different levels of government, business, people who I trust, and I wanted to know what they thought of this, because this is something that's, while outside the box, is seen by some as the key to fix what's going on. So let me take the article and put it in layman's terms, because a lot of people, when they see how the Constitution's written, they go like, what the hell are these people saying? What it means is that 2/3 of the states have to approve a piece of legislation. It's called an application for a convention of states, and that's 34 is the magic number. 34 states would have to approve this application. And once the 34th state is secured, and once the application is passed in the state legislature, Congress shall, not Congress might or Congress could, Congress shall call a convention. Now from there, each state would send delegates to the convention. They're called commissioners. And I've seen a couple different things. Do they send one? Do they send 150? It doesn't matter how many they send, because each state only gets one vote in the convention, just one single vote. And all states can go, not just the 34 that had asked for it. Every state gets representation, and they get one single vote. At the convention, amendments would be proposed, debated, and then voted on by these commissioners that were sent by the several states. Now, in order to come out of the convention as favorable, an amendment, a proposed amendment, would have to receive a simple majority of the states. So 26 votes, because 25 to 25 is not a majority. So 26 votes, simple majority, would get them out of the convention and then sent to the states for ratification. And to ratify an amendment, it's 3/4 of the states have to approve the amendment. That's 38 states. So these numbers are high for a reason. This is not supposed to be easy to do. It's supposed to be like the kill switch. Like, hey, we're going down burning. We got to do something now. Time to hit that button. It's like we got to do this. Is the nuclear option, basically. Now, while those numbers are high, if you are not aware, this has already been in motion for a couple of years, and the progress actually is surprising. It's last week, Wisconsin became the 16th state to pass a Convention of States application, and Nebraska became the 17th state to pass this. So we are already halfway there, and if we do get the foreseen or the forecasted red wave during the midterms, and a couple states flip, we could have Republican control in enough states to get this done, like, really soon, if it's continued to be pushed as it has been. Now, on your screen, I have, as of right now, the progress map for the Convention of States. Your green states are your states in which the resolution has already passed. Alaska, Arizona, Utah, North Dakota, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Wisconsin, Indiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. The yellow states, it's already passed one chamber in those state legislatures. It's 50% the way past those states. New Mexico, South Dakota, Iowa, West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and New Hampshire. Now, if all of those states were to pass it through the second house, the second body of their state legislature, that would put us at 25 states of the 34 necessary. The blue states have active legislation this year related to the Convention of States resolution. Washington, Montana, Wyoming, Kansas, Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Vermont, Maine, and Massachusetts. And then the states in white aren't considering it at all currently. Now, on the screen again, because I got your back, because I needed to find this out for myself as well, so I want you to know what's going on. This is the application for the Convention of States under Article 5 of the United States Constitution of the United States that has been circulated by the group called Convention of States, of all things. And it says, whereas the founders of our Constitution empowered state legislators to be guardians of liberty against future abuses of power by the federal government, and whereas the federal government has created a crushing national debt through improper and imprudent spending, and whereas the federal government has invaded the legitimate roles of the states through the manipulative process of federal mandates, most of which are unfunded to a great extent, and whereas the federal government has ceased to live under a proper interpretation of the Constitution of the United States, and whereas it is the solemn duty of the states to protect the liberty of our people, particularly for the generations to come, by proposing amendments to the Constitution of the United States through a convention of states under Article 5 for the purpose of restraining these and related abuses of power. Be it therefore resolved by the legislature of the state of, and then the three sections here are the legislature of the state of, insert here, hereby applies to Congress under the provisions of Article 5 of the Constitution of the United States for the calling of a convention of the states limited to proposing amendments to the Constitution of the United States that impose fiscal restraints on the federal government, limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government, and limit the terms of office for its officials and for members of Congress. Section 2. The Secretary of State is hereby directed to transmit copies of this application to the President and Secretary of the United States Senate and to the Speaker and the Clerk of the United States House of Representatives, and copies to the members of the said Senate and House of Representatives from this state. Also to transmit copies thereof to the presiding officers of each of the legislative houses in the several states requesting their cooperation. In Section 3, this application constitutes a continuing application in accordance with Article 5 of the Constitution of the United States until the legislatures of at least 2/3 of the several states have made applications on the same subject. So you heard there in Section 1 that this has been limited to those three areas of concern: limiting the power and jurisdiction of the federal government, imposing fiscal restraints, and placing term limits on federal officials. And I believe it's across the board, including the judiciary. So I agree that that could be a good thing. Now, term limits are, I think term limits should be a thing. I really do. Because Pelosi's and McConnell's and Schumer's and Biden's and Clinton's and insert name here, they've been there too long. It was never supposed to be a career. And they shouldn't be making the salaries they are making. But keep in mind that term limits cut both ways too. A good friend of mine said that today, and it's true. You know, you could lose a solid advocate for whatever is of your importance, of your forefront. For me and most of you, it's the Second Amendment, right? Which is another concern I had, and this is a major concern: is could the Second Amendment be put at risk in any single way by a convention of the states? And you might have heard the term before, runaway convention. That's when, like, once it gets going, there's a concern that, hey, this could go anywhere. Like, they could go after free speech, freedom of the press, search and seizure. There's people who say that once this Pandora's box is open, like, that you can't limit them to just these three issues. But then there's other people on the other side that say, yes, you absolutely can limit to three, and they really don't know because it's never happened. And that's my issue right there. Like, how can we be sure? I guess you can't be sure. And do we trust the process? I mean, it is a failsafe that was given to us by the founding fathers to yank the federal government back in line, because they knew that it was human nature to want to be more powerful and to become tyrannical, right? They just beat the pulp out of the world's toughest navy at the time to stop that, to secure a country where that wouldn't happen. And they wrote a fantastic document, as long as the rules are followed, which they haven't been. So those are my concerns. And there's a lot of support for it out there. You do a quick couple searches, you'll find it. And there's a lot of people on the opposition too, including some big money people like George Soros. But I really, really am asking you to please let me know your thoughts. And please try to refrain from the quick knee-jerk reaction, like, yeah, they all gotta go, or absolutely not, this is terrible. Put some thought behind it. I want to know where the Guns and Gadgets community stands on this, because some days I'm for it, some days I'm not, because of how will it affect the future of the country? How can it be limited? If it can be limited to those three things, I am for it. But if it can't, and other things could be put at risk, I'm not for it. Know what I mean? I hope I got my thoughts out properly for you, and so they were easy to understand. But now I want to see your thoughts, because I value you guys and gals that much. So please, let me know down below what you think of this. If you got anything out of this video at all, please hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. Toggle the bell notification to all. Share this with some people. I want as many people to see this and to comment as possible. And you can help that happen by sharing it and hitting the thumbs up. The more people that like the video, the higher it gets in the algorithm, and they do their thing by suggesting it to others. This is something that's on my mind. It has been for a while. And honestly, I couldn't sleep last night because I was thinking of this. So that's where my mind's at right now. Until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. A gun on your hip is more effective than a cop on the phone. And guys and gals, we are the new Sons of Liberty. Take care, everybody.